Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Hello. I think we're live. I hope this is working. And welcome to the second episode of Is This a Podcast? But this one specifically, is this a design podcast? Vishnu, can you join me up?
Hello. Hello. Are we live yet? I don't
Yeah,
think.
we're live. How are you,
Are we
Vishnu?
live?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Are you done with your lunch?
Yes, 1 week exactly. We finished. We were successfully in the second episode.
Yeah. And we're live. Let's wait for some people to join. And what do we have lined up today?
We have a fun design panel to discuss about design, specifically product design. Some stories, some controversies, some myths broken, myths created, like that. We have four people, four of them. We know them.
Do we know all four of them?
We know all four of them. We know all four of them little too well sometimes. So it's
are we all from the same college?
Yes, are we all from the same college? It's a good question, Vaishak. Yes, we are. We are from the same college.
Okay.
If enough people are watching the live, let's call on the panel. Let me check on my phone how many people are watching. It still shows me it's not live. Is it a glitch?
No, I think it's a glitch. We are live for sure.
Oh, it's there. I got confirmation.
Yeah, we're live. And we have 3 people watching us. So I think
it's enough number of people watching us.
So yeah, introduce our guests, our
all right
panel.
Our panel for today. First person to be introduced on the panel. Give a huge round of applause to whoever, if you're watching alone in your room. Give a huge round of applause. Variant Israni, a product designer, a packaging designer.
What's up, guys?
To Budapest.
How you doing?
Yes, everything. He's done it all. He's gone from Baswangudi to almost Budapest, but he didn't go because he couldn't go to Lal Bagh and get his passport done. And what's up, Ariant? It's not like it's
doing good.
You have to pretend like we didn't speak 2 minutes ago before this call and like explain what you're doing.
So right now I'm just here as a panel
good.
To talk about product design and talk about how our journey has been from the start till now.
Okay.
So yeah, how about that?
The show depends on the questions we ask. You can't come and be like, I'll talk about my journey.
I'm hoping you would ask that.
Yes, what was your childhood like, Arihant?
Childhood was boring. Always wanted to become an astronaut, but I ended up here. So.
Okay. Our next member, Yadu.
Our next member is a designer, again, product designer, a Hot Wheels enthusiast. Give it up for Jacob Epen, all the way from Bangalore. Almost Mysore, not almost Bangalore. Oh, yes, Jacob. It's the same routine for you too. It's not like you have to explain to people like we don't know you. That's the routine.
I am also a product designer like Arya, like same batch, same class. And I'm Mallu.
Good. You're Mallu. Yes, that's
yeah.
Good. Cultural.
Key takeaway from this intro.
Yeah. Okay. We will introduce next panel member. Give it up for a modeling expert, not like photograph model. on softwares, he models really well. And give it up for sellout product designer, Tanmay. Why is sellout designer when we go forward in the conversation? But
technically, I'm still a product designer. Haven't joined anywhere yet.
Okay.
It's yet to happen. Not yet sellout.
So we're all still PES.
Still PES. Still no graduation certificate is done.
Yeah.
Why is he sellout?
Because I'm going to do UI UX.
Yeah. No, like if you start coding at Infosys, then you're a sellout. Still design only. No, it's fine. Design. Okay.
This is my man. This is my man. He gets it.
Yeah. I am a sellout because instead of engineering, I'm doing this shit. So that's but yeah.
Engineering only, you sold out yourself. Then only when you joined PS for engineering, you're sold out.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay. Next person, sports enthusiast, sports design enthusiast. That's how you can call him. Varun Anand. He came up, called his name, but it's okay.
Thank you for having me. I'm Varun. I'm a product design graduate from PESU, like all the guys on the panel.
Are you?
It depends if we get the certificate. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. If anyone from PS is watching, we want our graduate certificate.
Please.
JSP sir, certificate.
Yeah. You can add this on your resume, LinkedIn, everything. Did a live stream with BisiBeleBois. Everyone will come recruit you guys.
Peaked in life.
Yeah.
Peaked in life.
I'll also introduce myself. My name is Vaishak Dutt, currently studying in the 6th semester C section. My SRN, I won't tell that, you will check my GPA. And currently doing this live stream. So welcome everybody. Welcome. Give yourselves a round of applause. And we'll start today's podcast/show/function, whatever. Okay, so to start off, a question that always boggles my mind is what do product designers have for breakfast? So what did you guys have?
Wait, actually.
Yeah.
Did Aryan have packaging? Did he actually eat cornflakes packaging? Yeah, what did you guys have for breakfast?
Well, I had lunch directly because I woke up hella late.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you for starting late.
I haven't had anything from morning.
And appam.
No lunch breaks in this live stream.
Yeah. Jacob's proving his Mallu again.
That's it. What did you have?
Direct lunch. Designers, we work through the night now. So.
Okay. Awesome.
Breakfast of champions, lunch. But no, to actually seriously start off the podcast after a very, very serious question, a slightly lighter note. Why did I'm also, to people who don't know, I'm also a designer, but I'm not product designer. I'm a graphic designer from same college, everything same batch. But why did we choose design? I won't answer it. It's my podcast. So you guys,
easy outer taking.
Who can start?
To add on to that. Yeah, to add on to that question, like I had something similar in mind, is like, what was your grounding for design? So like you said, Jacob, Hot Wheels. So like, was cars your segue into design? Or like, were you good at drawing and painting? So how did you get into this? And like, why specifically product? Do you like products? So yeah.
And like, you can't escape. All four of you have to answer. Jacob, go first.
So basically, like, I thought it was like arts, but like you'll mostly get a job. It's like arts with a job. So like, and like I like cars, so like product design is the first choice. Like whatever, drawing cars and stuff. So first choice product design. And then like whatever, like I came and then it like changed completely.
Changed.
That's what she
Good, not for the bad.
That who knows.
But
that's my thing.
But basically,
but like you were happy. Like, your grounding was like to draw and like to make stuff like that.
Yeah, I used to like draw quite a bit and all that stuff, but then like once I came in, they like changed. Like I mean, started making stuff also. Before I used to just draw.
Oh, okay.
So I thought like, yeah, maybe like people, it's like engineering and arts combined kind of. So I thought like maybe it's fun. Try that out.
Awesome. And yeah, so like let's say the main thing like after coming to design is like your software skills and stuff, right? So would you like have been, happier, not happier, but like fine with just doing stuff by hand? So like illustrating just on piece of paper and modeling hardware.
I think like after like using Instagram and stuff, I started like seeing more of other people's work. It's like, oh shit, I have to try this out. Like it's too good. And then I started trying out like other softwares and like, mediums and stuff. And basically, like whatever excites me.
And that's how you give a good answer, ladies and gentlemen. Next designer, please.
Go for it, Ariant.
Yeah, so as a kid, I was always like, interested in sketching, making stuff. I loved we had all these SCPW classes and stuff. Used to always ace that. So I started off with
What?
thinking
What classes?
Drawing.
drawing
Classes.
and art and craft basically. So as a kid, we used to ask questions like, what do you want to do in future and stuff like that. And something came into my mind. I wanted to do automotive engineering. So I wanted to go into that field, which again, it turned into like there's something called design, which came into picture, when you start, passing out of 10th, 12th, etc. So design came into my mind, and then I was like, yeah, I can do automotive designing. Applied for various colleges like outside Bangalore. And then I was like, yeah, if there are no colleges in Bangalore for automotive designing, I could go into product designing and later, take up automotive designing in my master's. So that's how I started off with my journey of design.
But are you still interested in automotive design?
No, I mean like in these
No,
in this
that's
4 years, I've understood how products work, how a design thinking process works. So that that skill set of automotive designing, I feel I don't have that, and I can do better somewhere else than like devoting my time towards automotive designing.
That design thinking part of it, I agree, because like I've also always, even though I took communication, I've always liked that aspect of product. I didn't choose product. I came into PES thinking product, but I didn't choose product because Akhil, I still can't draw even with a scale. So like it doesn't make sense. Huh?
Even I can't. Even after 4 years of product.
But I didn't like. I was very scared of taking it up and like draw or anything. So it's like, let me do this. But that aspect of design thinking and like the thinking aspect of it, I really like. But yeah, next person, go ahead.
Me? Okay. Honestly, like I wanted to do medical up until like 12th grade, so much so that I went to Akash to study for it and all. And I was like, oh, 5 years of studies, and that's not for me. And engineering was another bit like pain in the ass. I'd made up my mind never going to do engineering, mostly because I just didn't want to do what my parents were saying. It seemed like an easy out, and really, I feel like I became like a proper designer after like my first internship, where I actually learned stuff. Like I did it at Autoverse, and like that's where I learned 3D modeling. That's when I actually enjoyed what like designing and stuff. But before that, I was just like, yeah. Well, I think first year also, I was like, who cares?
All of us.
First year was.
But do you like how Jacob said automotive he likes, and then like even Hari told automotive. Did you have like a?
I think I realized I enjoyed the part of like the design thinking part, like and I feel like a lot of that applies in UI UX, which is why I want to actually shift. I feel like there's a lot of thought that goes into designing user flows and like understanding like information architecture, and like it's there even in product obviously, but I feel like those are the parts I enjoyed about designing, and that's why I want to make the shift.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so after 12th, I was pretty good at math and science. So engineering was the first thing I was like interested towards, or maybe like a BSc in physics or something, because that was my main subjects. But then I started losing interest in studying. I don't know why. I just didn't want to sit and read books.
Like all of us.
Vaishak is relating. He's relating to you.
Good, I study well. I'm a good studier. Anyway.
Yeah, so I'm not saying you're not. It's just that you regret what, like you don't want to study. So,
I mean, you can't study. That's the right way to put it. Like I will want to. I know my exams tomorrow, but I can't.
Yeah. That's why I didn't take medical. I knew this would happen. I'd be a bad doctor.
I mean, but also like here's a theory that not a theory, but something that I think of like when I think of designers. So tell me how much, to what extent is this true, right? So one of my friends, Samar, he was like, after his first year was ending, and he was also like, confused if I should take product communication or interaction or whatever. And something he told was, I want to take product because it's like the, what do you say, an umbrella under which all design comes under, and like
before we continue, I just want to make sure if it's public, the live.
Yeah, it is public. I'm watching on my.
From the link, it's working, but on the channel, it's not showing up. So I'm just slightly curious. If people are watching it in public, I don't. Just.
It is public for sure.
But from the channel, I'm not able to. From the link, it's working, but channel, it isn't.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's unlisted, by the way.
Yeah.
Is there the lazy designer, lazy live streams?
There, no?
Oh,
live,
okay.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
It's there.
My bag.
Yeah, we're live, no? What's the issue?
Oh, yeah, we're live. We have people watching also.
Yeah, my question was like, yeah, he was telling like product is like falls under that umbrella, and like I told like, why don't you try communication? It's because that's the design field that I relate most to. And so he was like, no, yeah, it's also an upcoming field, and like, yeah, jobs are being, so like, how do you process this stuff? Do you like, and I got angry when he said that, because you are doing design because like you're passionate about it and like you're good about it. So like, why are you still thinking about jobs and stuff? So I don't know. It's under that. And so like, do you, even though like you're doing something that's somewhat creative and somewhat you want to do and you're passionate about, like, how does like the job, like, will it is like, are like these jobs required? Is it going to pay, etc.? How do you deal with those questions? And yeah, what's your take on my theory or this story or whatever?
I think we all chose our passions over the money in general, because if the higher paying job is an interaction design job, it's known, like we all know it. But we've all come into design knowing like we're going to take product design. Like you said, it is an umbrella. Like we will learn HCI, we will learn user experience, user interaction, and we'll learn communication design, like packaging design. These are like a lot of domains come under product design. So that's why, like, even though if we want to change later, like say take a UI UX job now, we kind of can, because we know the basics, we know the foundations, and we all chose our passions rather than going for UI UX from the start, and because that's a better paying job. So that was a trade-off we had to make at the end of first year. Do you want a better paying job or follow your passion?
And it's also like, once you take this subject, you can't like learn other skills. You can do that as well, learn other skills, and go ahead with the high paying jobs and stuff like that.
Learn other skills, you mean like product, you can't like go into say something like do graphic design or UI UX? That's the thing you're telling me?
No, I'm saying you can. That's what. It's not.
No. I mean, personally, I chose it because it's like the umbrella, right? Like I could have that choice to do whichever field I like most.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like when I first chose it when I was in first year, I didn't have the idea, job, that was not there.
That was.
But I think that was not good. Like it was not good that I didn't have that information back then. I think it is important to look at it from a job perspective also. I feel that now.
Honestly,
because at the end of the day, right, like even if you're passionate, you still need money to live, and it is hard to make like it is hard to get like a good paying job in pure product design.
To be honest, in the first, second year, we were all like pretty confident that by end of fourth year, we'll all have like jobs, like well-paying jobs. But like
we didn't know the market.
Closer to
that was the
graduation,
problem.
like, we got like less paying jobs.
And the fact that the whole COVID thing happened also.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
added.
One more thing. No one's like, okay, make me a hair dryer. Nobody cares. But
And our jobs have more competition. Like engineers also can apply, like mechanical engineer. Any engineer can apply for the same jobs we are applying. So it's like a
I think in
bigger.
India, it's only starting this industrial design thing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
usually for all the industrial design stuff, they just hire like engineers. Like
mechanical
before.
engineering.
Yeah, product developers and stuff like that.
Because they also do all that.
It's not
What
like
we
they
did-
don't have the skill set, they just don't have like the design thinking that
Thinking.
has to go
Yeah.
into actually making the product. It's like, yeah, I can also build a box, but like, is it aesthetically good? Is it like thinking about different aspects like weight or whatever, aesthetics,
It'll be
Economics.
just
Thinking
they only
about
think
the
about
user and
functionality.
durability, I
target
don't know,
audience,
materials, yeah, stuff like that.
But that the thing Tanmay told, which is that product design was like the umbrella where you can go and like stream out to different things, makes a lot of sense. It's almost like that how you're like, let's take science in 11th and 12th.
Yeah, it's basically that. Then I can do whatever I want.
It's like
Yeah,
that.
it
Because-
is science.
Because what I took communication is like commerce. Like I can't jump to what you guys do. Like I can't learn prototyping or like sit and sand styrofoam. Whereas you can do graphic design. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Correct. Yeah. But this question, this one question I got randomly. I was thinking about, okay, what questions to ask. And in last week's episode, Sankarshan was asking some question similar to this, where he was like about improv though. He was like, since we do our own marketing, like the back end part of it and the creative part of it, which is the improv. It's like, how rewarding is the improv? You are okay to do all this back end stuff. So my question to you, particularly the four of you, even though I'm a designer, but you guys, product designers, especially, even though if it's a course, I know you want to see the final product and like the satisfaction of, even though if it's not a fully working model, but just seeing the getting the satisfaction of seeing the final product. How rewarding is the process to that, or is it just that you're working towards, or do you enjoy the process as well? Is it only the final product that you're working towards? You're like, I don't like this, but I know that will be good. Or do you enjoy the entire process and then, hey, it's the end result?
I think the process is like the most fun. It's like I think it's more fun than the final product. Like there's so many different steps and like so many different ways of like solving a problem. That's like more fun than actually using or like seeing that.
Sometimes
Like when we go ahead.
like sometimes when you get excited about what your end product is gonna be, and your end product entirely depends on the process itself, like your user study, what are your concept generation, your different material testing, etc. So that's what excites me, like how my end product would look after I like maybe prototype it.
Yeah.
I guess like, yeah, for me it's like the end process is the motivation to do the process and go through it. But like the thought is always that, oh, if I do work now, it'll be so much better then. So like that's how I work.
So you're basically telling I'm working towards the product.
Towards the end product, not
Yeah. Makes sense.
And
I'm
when
relating to that as well. Yeah. Go, Varun.
and when you create that final product, you want to validate it. You want to when someone sees it, you want the enough data and enough statistics to say like, look, this is why it works. And
Yeah,
that will only
that's-
come when your process and how you made it is perfect. Like if you have loopholes in there, they'll just pick you apart. Like you did this, you skipped this, and that makes your product useless. So if your process isn't perfect, then your product won't be perfect. And another thing is, in the process, it's not a single person doing it. We all go to each other and we work with each other, and that's the best part of designing.
Yeah.
Working
like
with people.
empathizing with people and understanding them and asking for
Half
feedbacks.
of your product won't even be your ideas. It will be your friend's idea or the professor giving you an input. So that's how you take it up and put it in the product. That's the most fun part.
Yeah, I think that working together, even not even just the user taking their information, but just within like the community, if I have to put it in like a bigger term, but just that is really like rewarding at times also.
Yeah.
You learn something even though the product at the end fails, even though if it fails or whatever. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And like this thing is just not for product design. I feel like the joy
Yeah.
of
Collaborating is just fun.
Collaborating, yeah.
collaborating and like birthing something is like that was something in your head and then giving it life and seeing it. It's a joy that's like it's something great to see. That's why like I like writing and like writing plays and stuff. So like something that was in my head to see that visualized and on stage, like that's what drives me, that I can birth something. Whereas one of the pains of when in engineering is that like I'm doing something which I don't even know like what the bigger picture is. So let's say I'm working in some software company, they'll tell like, oh, they'll give this code, debug this. Like, what the hell is this code? Even like in the bigger scheme of things, what is it? Like, how is it contributing to it? So I want to put that question back to you. So like, as product designers, birthing a product that was like something in your head and then thinking, I've seen you behind this. So like you do all those steps and then finally, giving birth to it. Let's say was how rewarding is that versus you were working for a design firm, let's say, where like you only had to work on like a small, maybe like a car company where you only had to design like a part of a car and not the entire car, which is very small, but so how would that be? Would it be just as rewarding, and how would you function as a cog in like an system?
I feel like in design, it won't work that like maybe you will work on a small part, but I think the whole team has to collaborate so that the design is cohesive. Like even if I was designing a car and I had to only design a steering wheel, I had to work with other people who are designing like the inside so that it fits the entire, like the design language that you're going for. So I feel like in design, it's not as monotonous as, okay, I'm just doing this one part. I feel like a lot of collaboration just has to happen for the design to work.
Yeah, and only in universities, like a single person can do the entire product. Like if you want to manufacture and scale things, you need a team, and you definitely work as a small part in a bigger team. And just all people working on small things, putting it together, and then birthing the product, like you said, it'll satisfy all of us at once.
I think when you collaborate also, like there'll be some people who have better skills at like, let's say, manufacturing something. So they're obviously given better ideas and like maybe
better insights and inputs about how to come up and understand the.
It's better to collaborate than working.
It's basically like how if you're designing something for the market and you have a manufacturer on board with you, if you design like who the manufacturer is, can be like, hey, if this is feasible or not. It's not like design something extravagant, then manufacturer is like, what the fuck, there's no way to be done. That sometimes, I don't know if that makes sense. It's there, no?
Yeah. Like there are so many factors like designing sustainability, affordability, manufacturability, and all these are like considered as we design. Like say we want to create an affordable product, and if we make the manufacturing very expensive, or like it uses some 3D printing or some expensive process or material, it's not going to be feasible. So we have to work in hand with all steps, like from ideation till scaling of the product.
Yeah.
I'm sure like there's like this collaboration birthing in software and stuff. I hope I didn't offend any software engineers watching this.
Everybody is going like crazy.
Yeah, I guess it's just like what you find joy in birthing, right? So the delivery has to be a baby that you like. Only then it makes sense to deliver that baby. Otherwise, you gotta like
push it back in. Push it back in.
Go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
One more thing that I've always noticed, like in the 4 years of design is there's a difference between a person who's a natural designer and there's a person who's a more like they're not naturally they're not natural designers, but they like structured. Like I can't think naturally. I like structure in design. But whereas like few of you also are like natural, but many like 50 of us, there were natural designers, there were structured designers, and we don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
What do you guys what do you guys think about this natural designers and like structured? Nothing, there's no pros, there's pros and cons for both. There's nothing is number one, number two, but what do you think is the difference? What is your opinion on this?
Okay, I guess a natural designer, like you said, has more of a creative mindset to his problem solving and to his entire process. And a technical or a structured designer is more like technically based, like he wants to use research or he or she wants to use statistical data to back his findings or his ideas. So maybe those are the two differentiating things.
Yeah. First off, do you guys believe that there's like natural designers and structured designers?
I do.
Yeah. But then they're not always in like the design field. Could be like engineers also.
Yeah.
Like even some engineers are like pretty good designers. Like, I mean, they might not make it look really appealing some, but like it's like if the product works or whatever.
Concept is good.
Yeah. So yeah.
And also, I think this thing about like structural and natural, I think I can like extrapolate it to improv as well, where when we started out, we were natural improvisers. So like being, funny on stage came naturally to us. But for us to sustain ourselves, we had to become structural improvisers and know what we had to do in a scene. So let's say like we were improvising and a scene wasn't working. So then having a structure there and looking, okay, we didn't yes and then, or, this story didn't have like, it didn't have a climax and then it didn't resolve. Okay, you were negating too many things. I think that's what like, even for you, right? So when you design something, you start off in your head, it's going naturally, but like when it's not working, it's good to like then become structural and say at which step of this process, like, are you finding difficulty in, right? So does that make sense?
Yeah.
I guess like the first step is again ideating, like letting your mind go and digressing, right? So that's natural, that comes naturally. You cannot hold yourself back there. But once you have all your ideas, you need to be technical and structured in a way of picking your best ideas. Like you said, like making sure the bad ideas don't come through and only the good ones go through. You have to be structured.
I mean, like there is a structure to ideating as well. If like,
yeah,
do you think so?
There's not a structure, there are techniques.
I think enough. Yeah, like different methods of
methods of how you brainstorming and like Scamper, etc.
Like design thinking.
But I think if you do it naturally, like you might like really get like roadblocks and stuff. So sometimes it's better to just follow the structured approach.
Roadblock in the sense,
like
work.
You might have like some sketch or something, and you just like want to model it or like make it or something, but you might not realize that there might be like some flaws and stuff in it.
Like how as a natural, how as a natural
you
designer,
have to consider like all the aspects of the product.
So do you think you did that degree to get that structure in your life? But you always had that product naturally.
This question I didn't have in
the degree.
I think I did kind of like they taught us how to structure our projects and stuff. But I don't know to what extent we use it.
Like for me, when I used to think of a problem, the thing which used to come in my mind was, this is a problem, I have a solution, I'll just go ahead with it. Like there's certain things involved in reaching that output. There you have to, go ahead with your market research, and you have to, there are various ways you can ideate it. Like if you just skip all those parts, the output won't be that successful from, other than, doing all those research and structuring every single part of your journey.
I feel like they taught us all the structure, but we all took it up in our own way. Like not everybody follows the same structure.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of back and forth. Like say you sketch something and you make it, and then you're like, no, I don't like this. You go back and you sketch it in a different way, and then you make something else, and you're like, I like this more. So it's not just a one-way up structure. It's like you can go up and down, and like, that's depends on how you see it.
When you say like structure they gave, but we chose like what structure works for us, does that mean like, is it because it's a subjective thing, like the whole design itself is a subjective thing? Is it because of that, or is it because that's how it should work?
You can't say that's how it should work.
It's subjective. Definitely design is subjective. So even if there's a structure, for you, it might be different. For him, it might be different. Like, is that a subjective, or is it because you've worked so much for 3 years that you know your structure? I don't know. I'm not framing this question properly, but
No, it's okay. I got it. I think, yeah. So we've all been exposed to the entire structure, and like we've picked up things which will help in our process, in our thinking process. And like, it's not right or wrong to do to take up a different sort of approach, but it's all subjective. Like you pick the things that will help you to solve the problem the best.
I think some methods might work better for some people. Like they think it gives some better results or something. So naturally it'll take them.
And since it being subjective, so like, what's your take on teachers grading you? So, like I've had these conversations with a lot of designers where how do they grade you? And like Sankarshan once told me like Star gave me 7 something in this. Like I asked him, and he told, and the sir replied apparently that someone has to get low marks. No.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Can you mention who this sir is?
I don't know who that is.
I think we are.
We are, I guess.
Okay.
It has to be that one, sir.
So then like I mean, your design is subjective, but I guess its purpose is objective, and like it's meant to solve a specific problem. So in that case, how do they grade you? Are you okay with them grading you, and how does it affect you? All that stuff. Let's just talk about grading.
Grading,
that we've mentioned into like
I think overall design education. No, like design how.
We've segued into your degree, and like we told like they give you some sort of a structure, but everyone takes that structure differently. So now grading. Let's talk about that.
I think grading has a lot to do with. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, are you talking about just like us or like our batch or our teachers and stuff, or like in general?
Like you said, design education in general.
But since we are all from the same college, we can talk about our design education.
Yeah,
I guess we can't speak for others.
For others might be wrong.
For me at least, I feel like it was very subjective, and a lot came down to how they see you also. Like in class, I feel like a pyramid, like it does play a role. I'm sure.
It does.
Like the way they see you is also how they will evaluate your design. Like even if it could meet all like your problems, they can still find problems based on who you are.
To put it on a very stupid note, it's like you're a celebrity, no? Like celebrities, they aren't judged for their movies. They're judged for everything. Like if your airport look is not good, you're judged.
Yeah. And it has that blanket cover of, design is subjective. So it's even harder to like spot it, right? Like at least in engineering, you're like, I got the right answer. So like you have to give me marks. But in design, it comes under, it's so subjective. So like you're kind of fucked.
I didn't like it.
I think like all of us,
low marks.
All of us got like very good marks in like all of our subjects. So we felt like we're not being pushed. So like maybe
That
go
also.
to our like
That
limit.
also I feel like has to do with because it's a new course and they have to
Yeah,
like
could be.
show that
Yeah.
they like. I feel like that also like
But I
it's
think
almost like
we
office politics played into our grades.
actually,
Okay, the one way to put this is, okay, imagine Vaishak has an amazing idea and he does like an amazing product, but he doesn't render it well, or he doesn't, because he doesn't know rendering, imagine, and he can't sketch it well. But I have a solution which may or may not work, but has the finest renders and the finest sketches. I'll get graded more in this design education system, and he'll get graded less. They're not looking at the idea, they're not looking at what the product does or the concept. They're looking at your skill set. They're marking you on how well you can show your work rather than what your work is what I think it is.
So like software skill set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're basing you off
it
of
plays a
that.
big role.
I think even presentation, not just software. Even
Yeah,
a
it's just how you
presentation,
show it.
How you show
Yeah.
this thing, how you structure each and your every part of your journey from the ideation to the final output, prototyping and stuff.
That makes sense. No, they can only
Yeah,
grade
that
you, not you though,
Yeah.
right?
True.
Yeah, true.
They
But
can't teach-
but
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 they
would
don't
you
mark us
be
on the
satisfied
idea.
knowing your product is really good, but you didn't get a good grade?
Yeah, because in end of the day, like I'll know that they're grading my software skills and not my thinking, right?
Yeah, but you are a good designer because your product is good. Like your
Like
concept
you'll
is
be
good.
made to feel bad like,
Yeah,
because
correct.
you get
Makes
this.
sense. Yeah.
And
But
I'll
like-
be sitting here feeling good with a shit.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the same thing in like our engineering final projects as well. Is that like maybe one of our projects is solving like a better problem, or like it's more, whatever, more novel or whatever. But then they will cut marks if like they find bugs. For like, I'm gonna get penalized for being a bad programmer, or they will cut marks for me not, like during the feasibility presentations or whatever. If I don't present well, I will lose marks there, even though like it has nothing to do with the entire thing. So like end of the day, yeah, you are going to get, graded and assessed and evaluated and hurt on many fronts. But yeah, I guess and like I at least like when you say that in our in our design education system, they are going to grade us on like our soft skills. I think it's reassuring for design students to know that like, hey, I got a bad grade because I didn't do this properly. They're not telling my thinking itself is wrong, or like I'm not meant to be a designer at all or whatever. They're
True,
just
yeah.
telling I didn't choose the right color for this, or this font would have looked more appealing, or you know that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
But they don't put it in a way that like, guys, your thinking is nice, but they're just like take B like that.
Yeah, they don't say why. They're like,
don't say
you
give
figure it
why.
out.
Yeah. Correct. Design education, at least in what we got, was more or less like school type only. It wasn't like one.
yeah.
No.
I feel like we weren't pushed. Like we were
Yeah.
sort of shielded.
It should have
almost.
been like, even after giving us a bad grade, there should have been a feedback session, and so that we know where we're going wrong. I think we never had that.
And do you think you should have had more industry exposure or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
for
I
sure.
think, yeah, in India, it's like, I don't know, it's not a good place for this field, I guess.
No, but I think we
Because,
got like very little exposure
Exposure
to
towards-
actual
Yeah.
like opportunities of what like we could have. Like they
Like
took us to
recruiters, sorry, yeah.
yeah, no, I mean they took us to like one clay place, and like I feel like they didn't take us to places where we would actually get like we would get jobs. And I feel like it's important as a student to actually understand what the like market is like.
Marketers, yeah.
I have an anecdote regarding this. Okay, so in my second PUC Kannada exam, where like I was getting bad marks throughout college, and that was like they were cutting marks. My teacher in I won't name that college. She was cutting marks whenever.
Can I name it?
Huh?
Can I
Yeah,
name it?
I don't know. It might be true or not. But like she was cutting marks for like all of my Kannada answers and stuff. and the reason was like, oh, your answer didn't contain this point, or like you're supposed to include this from like the, like she would like tell this is the answer scheme, and your answer needs to have this. But then like when I actually wrote my final exam, I ended up doing really well because I didn't change my answering style to what she was telling. So like I didn't by heart everything and just put those exact answers. Like my answers were still subjective, and like I answered questions in a way I felt like answering, and I ended up getting great marks in my like the board exams. So this thing to correlate it with your design thing is like when you're in like a, like you told it, it's like a shielded or guarded ecosystem of your own. So like if your lecturers say it's good, it's good. If they say it's bad, it's bad. Like you don't have multiple sources of validation and evaluation or whatnot. So once you come out of this bubble, how do you think, like, would you have changed your ways of working as a designer completely to suit PES, but then you come out and you realize, hey, I need to like rewire myself a lot more? Or you think you wouldn't have to do that, and you were the same in PES and you are going to be the same somewhere else as well. It's just that how you are being evaluated and validated is different. That's my question.
So we'll be completely broken down. Like when we join our first firms or whatever, we'll be put in such a situation, we'll be like so clueless, and like all we've done so far is get one validation from one person and work on it. And now when you're in a firm, you will most likely be put in cases where a lot of people will give you inputs, and you'll have to work under people also. So you will be put in cases where you have to make so many iterations and take so much feedback that it's completely different to what we've been exposed to here.
Yeah, I think even the stakes are much higher when it's like a real job. Like in college, it's like, yeah, I'm doing this project mostly for me and say like a portfolio. But in industry, it's no longer for me, right? It's for people and it has to work.
I think there's a
think-
Has
big
to
gap
go out,
between
has to
what
sell
we
out.
learn in the college and what is happening in industry. It's like we don't consider like all the things that are required for designing stuff. There's like many more things that we don't know about that are required.
Sometimes I feel like, when you go out on a job and an industry, I feel like that's also a learning platform for you, because that's when you like understand how the market works, how the industry works, how you're going to actually manufacture your output and stuff like that.
But sometimes even though, yeah, it's a learning this thing. Once you go into the industry, if you don't know something like the gap that Jacob was telling, sometimes it's too big that you're intimidated by it. No, at least
Yeah, for sure.
Happens.
Yeah.
For sure.
And like why I told my Canada exam thing is, A, I wanted to flex that I got good marks. And B is like that, what I wanted to say was like my approach to this one thing was the same throughout. It's just that I was evaluated differently in college, and I was evaluated differently in my board exams. And that purely came down to the evaluator then. So like, what is your take? So like, do you think like wherever you are, you will have to work accordingly there and like rewire yourself, or are you going to stay true to who you are as a designer, which is like that natural designer side of yourselves? Are you just going to keep that and like find a place where you fit in naturally,
and like in
Ideally,
the industry,
that would be natural, like natural designer, but it's like the chances of getting in such a place are like very, it's like finding a like ideal friend or girlfriend.
Like a unicorn.
like you. And in the market, the final evaluator is the user.
Yeah, not
Some
really your
person,
boss.
Yeah, not your boss or not teacher. Whereas in college, it's very tough since the objective part of it, which is grading, has to be there, since that's how it is. It's very tough for the professor to be like, okay, it's not working for me, but it might work for others. It's very tough for the professor to think like that also, no?
Yeah.
Like
also, I think I don't agree with finding your ideal job and staying the same. Like a designer has to adapt, and when you're put in different situations and environments, you will learn new things. You don't have if you have the same approach to everything,
you won't grow as a
you won't
designer.
grow.
Then.
Like there is no progress. You have to be put in uncomfortable situations and learn and change the way you think whenever necessary.
I mean, yeah, that's there. Uh, you for you to grow, yeah, all that stuff I agree with entirely. But what I'm telling is, uh, let's say I was a type of designer whose main forte or something which I really want to do is like graphic design, right? I really like making, illustrating, and doing that stuff. But then you can't, so because visually my background is that I was raised like I'm a film buff, or I like looking at advertisements. I like how advertisements communicate. So like that's the headspace that I'm in. I like storytelling. So like that story thing, that's who I am. And that's why I naturally, go towards that. But then like if you put me in like a UI UX space, then are you really growing? Like you're changing yourself. You're not growing as this thing,
No,
that's
but
what
that's to say that you can't bring your style into like UI UX. That's not true, right? It's not like I can't do it.
I'm not saying you can't do it, but like what you said, like you will bring that side of you into this. Yeah, I think that's interesting.
No, and to that thing which you were saying, or whatever storytelling, film buff, and all that. I think as designers, we sometimes we have to lose our identity, like who you are, because you're working for the user. You're not working for yourself. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Your
Yeah.
like whatever your auteur or your touch needs to be there, but at the end of it, it doesn't matter like if you like the product. Does the user like the product, and does it work? At least for me, I think like that. If the user likes it, I don't care if I like it or I don't like it.
but as a designer, I feel like you'd
Yeah,
get joy from that. Oh, okay, my users
Yeah.
are liking it, so
Yeah.
you'd like it.
Since
in
other
that
people like
aspect.
it, you'll obviously
Yeah.
start to like
Exactly. It's like how even in improv, like if we do a lame, say some low hanging fruit joke, we fucking get a applause break, 2-minute applause break. We don't like that joke, but since so
Yeah,
joke, it's like okay, I think it works. It's like
Yeah.
But like, can you keep doing that shit? Eventually, you have to do stuff that you like as well, right? I mean, like if I just in improv, if I was just doing jokes which audience like without eventually coming back, like I must be satisfied with my own thing. Like even like I must be happy with my practices, and like I should be happy with how things are going internally, and only then okay, fine. That second we did this joke and like we gave what the user wanted. Customer is king, whatever. But initially for me to sustain that, I think like I should be happy with what I'm
I
doing.
think like see, because you're an artist, right? So for you, what's important is like how you also feel. But I feel like that's not the same for designer, or it shouldn't be. It should be that
Yeah.
the user is who I'm designing for, and hence he's the only one that matters, or whatever. Not just the user, the stakeholders involved in whatever project we're making. So I don't think it's like, oh, for me, my joy should come from the fact that my users are able to enjoy my product more
So
than
like,
anything else.
I think only when like if you're currently facing some problem and like you design for yourself, then like this applies, I guess.
Yeah,
Like let's
only
say
if you're
I say
designing for
I see
yourself will this simpler.
and it like the users like it, then yeah, it's good. But if users don't like it, then it's like pointless.
I think this is again a beautiful segue to the age-old debate of design and art. Difference between like what it is. That I think what Tanmay said pretty much sums it up. Now that like
True.
art,
Yeah.
but
there's a
how do
lot
you-
more of you in art, whereas in design it's a lot more of them.
Yeah.
But how do you like outweigh the joy of designing something that your user wants versus the joy of designing something that you want? Right?
See, right now
But
we're
if you're
at college.
designing something you want, then you're not really designing, right? Because you
Yeah,
start
you're-
off with who my user is, and only then you
target
start.
audience.
See, in our projects now, we have biases. Like we just like, okay, we like this, even though there's little bit of data not backing it, we'll pick it because we have an inclination towards it and we'll just make it. But if we do that in the industry and the project fails and the product fails, there's no room for error basically. So you need to put the user above you and then suppress your biases.
Yeah, basically, there's no joy in a failed product, even if you like it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I want to say something. Which
Aryant has been contemplating a lot.
What is life?
like USA and we're all in India. Like dark 2 a.m. You're talking with us.
Yeah.
I-
So you don't have a medium-sized bulb or something? Like throw intense, like.
Sounds like a design problem.
Peace.
Oh, hello, light. Aesthetics.
Looks like he's in a hotel.
The
Yeah.
thought that came to me was, I think agree or like tell me if what I'm thinking is right. So for you to be satisfied as a designer, you should be a user yourself.
No,
no.
No.
No, not
your
necessarily.
user should be satisfied by your product.
No, I mean like, okay, what I meant to say was, if you were a user of your own product, then you'll be happy with, because in that way you are like happy with what you're doing as well, plus different users like it also. So like it's best of both worlds.
I guess you're saying empathy. Like you put yourself in the user's shoe and see if you like it or not. Is that what you're saying?
Like if you're somebody who'd use that product, then I guess it matters. Like if you come in that same like category of people that use that specific product, then I guess.
Yeah, like if the target audience is say 20 to 22-year-olds, then if it works for us.
Not this age demographic. It's like if I like gaming and shit, if I am designing a game, then like it's more satisfying for me, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I agree to that.
works. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't get your point. What?
Like if I am a gamer myself, and then me designing a game will be more satisfying for me, because end of the day I am a user of that very thing which I'm designing. Plus I'm enjoying what I'm designing because I am a user, and and also I'm birthing something that I want to birth. So all
But
those.
even there, right? Like what kind of a gamer you are also matters. Like if you're just someone who plays hyper casual games and you're designing like one intense AAA game, I don't think you'd enjoy it, right? So it's very hard that you'd be designing exactly what you are, like what you like doing. I feel like that you're not sort of growing then if you're the only, like you only design for yourself also. I feel like you should have different kinds of users.
I guess he means work, design in the field you're passionate in. And will that make you happier? Is that what you're saying?
No, but that's what I meant. But like he replied with like something that's much more profound, is that even if you are designing something that you like, you will come across differences which you don't like as a designer. And then you still have to adapt yourself, because end of the day, you're solving a problem, and like, it's not about you anymore. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we have to be like, slightly detached to what you're doing, no?
Yeah.
Sometimes it helps being attached to it as well.
Yeah, but
I mean, like if that attachment is there, like best of both worlds. But but as a designer, your primary thing is not attachment. It's
user.
Problem solving, user.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Detachment, attachment next.
No, like by default, you're detached. If later sometime attachment happens, then like, yes, good. It's like you're happy with friendship. Then if it comes into relationship.
But you shouldn't start with attachment. I feel like it blinds you to a lot of things. Like,
True. Like you said, friendship.
Yeah.
Correct.
Vision
Aishak's an expert in relationships.
And awesome. So like we talked about design education, then we talked about like all the subjective things, design versus art, and like I think it's been a good journey so far. And like taking back to one of the conversations I had with Vishnu and
before you do that,
chat, you want to acknowledge chat?
We have to acknowledge chat. We have
go ahead.
Can you believe that? 11 people watching. Wow.
Sure.
Okay. For the people who are asking, where is Avi? Avi is not well. You can put in chat. Take care, Avinash. You can tell that.
Hashtag.
Get well soon. You can do that. Sankarshan Joshi asks, what's the process of designing a product? We discussed that. Lessons learned from design school. Yes, discussed that. Pretty much that's it. We've acknowledged the chat. Go ahead.
Sankarshan, process of designing a product. Yeah, they talked about ideating, all of that, sketching and stuff. And design school, yeah, they told to sum it up in line, it's that they give you a structure, but what you take from that structure is up to you, and like you end up being whatever you are. So yeah, we've talked about a lot of this stuff, and yeah, now we'll come to like real interesting tough questions. So one question, like one discussion I had with Vishnu long ago was that something that when like I am being creative is something that intimidates me is like seeing other people's work, and when I see that, of course you'll be like, oh, it should motivate you also to do better or whatever. You can say stuff like that, but also like it's inspiring and whatnot. So as you being designers, and now that too we are in like one beautiful connected social media space where everything is visible, and so many things. There's Clubhouse also, you can like go talk with the designers and enjoy all that stuff. So like since so much of this is there, how do you think, how do you deal with the external competition slash the whole space there and stuff? How does that influence you as a designer yourself?
I think before we all saw things online and saw, like, we gauged ourselves. At some point, we've all gauged ourselves against people our age, people younger than us, people older than us, and seen like, oh, if that person can do that, why am I still here? And social media has drastically helped. Like maybe 3 years ago when we joined, we thought like maybe at the end of first year, like, okay, we're at a good place. We can push on from here. And then you go online, you see stuff, and you're like, I'm lagging behind. I need to start working outside of college and build my own skills. And we've all done that. Like half the skills we've learned are on our own by looking up to people in the Riskin community and learning from courses and like from tutorials, and just by being actively involved in the community, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's that like when you see other people's work, I don't think it's that intimidating. It's more like how did they get there types.
Yeah,
Like,
it excites you, and you want to explore more into the for example the software itself, and try new stuff, and learn something more than what you're actually doing right now.
We have like the creative mindset. We have our ideas. We just want to put it out better. We want people to see our ideas in a better way, in a aesthetic, or in a way they will understand easily. And that is where social media helps, like to look at other people's work, take inspiration, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think the intimidation factor like shouldn't be there. Should be there, shouldn't be there. I don't know, but like once
it should affect you somehow. You can't be like so
yeah,
I think like,
different.
only if you have work like presented, then it makes like it affects you kind of. But if
like
you don't really
can't
put
be
any work,
oblivious to it, is what I mean.
Yeah, true. Some
like, so
amount
when
of
you put up
response to
work,
it.
you can compare yourself.
And
But it's
another
more like
thing is,
you'll improve. It's like something you learn, you'll put it in the next project, or like something you see like as soon as you post something in your like you post a project, you might have noticed that like, oh, I could have done this better or something like that. And during the next project, you like grow like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it helps.
Yeah. So like now that we're talking about presentation, a line that sums up my life is I was happy until I joined LinkedIn. So after that, like seeing everything else, like so because in that the way you present stuff matters a lot, right? So how do you enjoy presenting your projects with the right without any grammatical errors, properly post it on all social media with the right hashtags and stuff like that? And do you think because of this whole social media space and stuff, if you end up not presenting well, you're often like left behind and your work is never recognized?
okay, Jesus, intense.
Yeah.
He's ready. I told him get 2-3 questions ready. That's all. I didn't know he was he wrote questions and all. These questions I'm also thinking.
See, like
Because
you
like,
say,
I come up with one great design, but like social media, I can't means. So,
it's
Validation.
scary.
You're
Yeah.
telling like validation.
Not validation. I mean, how much like is learning how to present yourself a part of designing itself is what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a part of
Because
designing, it's a part of you as a designer.
it's like, so if you don't present it right, they might like think your product is like a fail.
I think it's not limited to designers anymore.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
to
like
everyone.
everyone has to
Yeah.
learn to present.
Like how well the target audience or how well the one you're presenting it to understands your product. So that really matters. How easy it is for them to catch up to what you're trying to say. So that's where presentation skills comes into.
Another way as designers is we can sell ourselves also. Like
Yeah.
not our souls. I mean, like we can talk our way through. Like even if our skill set is not at the level we want it to be to show through our projects, if we have a good if we have good presentation skills and if we can sell ourselves to the recruiter, he'll believe in us and he'll take a chance on us, and then we can improve our skill set and like be where we want to be.
Yeah. I think that's very important part of the process also, the selling yourself.
Yeah.
And like we've learned that pretty well in improv. So like even if we have a shitty show, if we make it right, we will get people to watch it. And it's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but it just, and like if we come up with something really good, but it just doesn't stick, maybe like it was posted in a time where like it didn't make sense or stuff like that, like these external factors. So like we need to be conscious of when we are putting stuff out, when will it reach the most number of people, all that stuff. So end of the day, yeah, it does come into the picture. So like it's not designing itself, but for you to be a designer, you should know this and be aware of it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And on a lighter note, I have a question on a very light note. What do you, since all of you are from a product background, what do you guys think about UI UX designers calling themselves as product designers? What do you guys think about that? Like, just slightly trigger you guys.
I mean, see, like as product designers, I mean, this is how it started. Like earlier, like product design was known to understand the user, to understand what the user experiences and stuff. I think because of that, it's called UI UX maybe. I mean, because user experience is called as product design. I think the industry calls product design because we have that real insight of how, the user experiences your product, or we need to understand that to build up the final output. So I guess, is it because of that?
Okay, I think
no one knows the correct answer. There's no correct answer.
I think digital product design is the word.
Yeah, it's digital product design and physical product design.
Physical product design, yeah.
So they're like generalized. It's now it's hard to get jobs.
Yeah.
If you call yourself, so we are now technically industrial designers, and if you consider an industrial designer to be a person who knows the engineering aspects very well, but we are not those people. We are product designers. Like we design for the user, whereas people who do digital products, although they do also design for the user, they are also product designers. We are also product designers, but they just took it away from us and they pushed us into industrial design, where the competition is with engineers and recruiters expect us to do engineering stuff, which is not what we're trained for.
It becomes like a core job, like how mechanical engineers search for core jobs after their degree. It's like that.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Okay. Programming is, let's say, coding is about solving a problem, right? But then, like, you can't know just an aspect of programming and coming and telling that, like, I solve problems. You just know a part of this. And, like, you're being forced to compete with a totally entire different field altogether, is what Varun's telling, right?
Yeah, it's like both of us are product designers, but we aren't technically allowed to be recognized as product designers anymore. So if I say I'm a product designer now, a recruiter expects me to do UI UX,
UI/UX, yeah.
which we are not catered
That's
to
what
do.
the industry expects from product design like now.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this change came from in the
Yeah.
I
last
think
year and
since
a half.
there's a large number of UI UX, like people are just like took that term and like kept it. Now, like since industrial designers are way lesser than
So
the
like
amount of like
That
product design.
there's this Venn diagram of like product designers and UI UX designers, and the intersection of that was like being common product designers. But then, like
Yeah.
as more and more UI UX designers came out, you guys were pushed out of the Venn diagram and you entered product engineer space, right?
Technically, yeah,
Kind of,
basically.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. Venn diagrams. Good.
And
Very accurate.
Yeah, actually.
now that and like one thing like something which when I was in like 10th and first PUC and stuff was like I really enjoyed editing videos and stuff. So but as later and later it became a pain for me, and like I realized it's just an obstruction for me to reach my final goal, which is to have that video up. Of course, like yeah, if you want to do that, like you can't be a bitch and like you have to learn and you have to do all this stuff or whatever. But like yeah, but I just felt like that was like an obstruction to me sometimes. And like sometimes yeah, I do like enjoy learning editing and like learning about stuff or whatever. But last year sometime around now, like when I was learning After Effects, like the way I started looking at things changed completely. So like I didn't know keyframes were a thing, right? So like it was always for me like, how did they move this text from here to here? Like how did that happen? But then later, as I like started learning things, it's like, hey, this is this bacha stuff. Why am I like so fascinated? What I mean to say is the way I saw the world differently, the way I saw the world became different as like I explored this. So as you guys, learning product design and this thing, how has it like changed the world? How the way you look at the world? So like if you look at a car, I'm sure like like when my friend likes typography or something, they look at a signboard and like, hey, that's a bad font. Like you can't read this when you're like when I'm going fast, I can't read this sign. It's not visually appealing. So like the way you sit at a menu and like, hey, this menu is not designed right. The spacing is off over here. It's not center aligned or whatever. So like as you guys being product designers, can you like tell some instances where the way you saw things itself was different? Hey, that's a shit product. Like yeah.
The critical eye.
Yeah, not critical eye, but it's almost like you before you'd be like, let's say you had an eye for things and like something was off, but now you know exactly what's off.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like at least the most common products are like let's say phones or something, we like just judge the design of it. We can't really like complain because like if they're selling so much, like I mean, like maybe we are wrong. But if it's like sometimes like products like these like products that don't sell much or something, then we can maybe like judge it how it works, and like is it actually useful or is it just for like just Chuma made it or something. So that we can do, but we can't do like more like advanced like art, like engineering type of analysis about the
Even
product.
basic analysis, like
mean,
this handle grasp is not nice, like that.
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
it's
that
not
we can do.
ergonomically designed and stuff like that. But as far as I've seen, most of it happens in like most of this analyzing stuff happens for visual designs. Like for example, like how Vaishak said, like this font is not good. This design doesn't look good. This design doesn't fall under this language. The spacing is off. So most of it is we see that more like.
I guess that you could say that is more evident.
For
us to find flaws in say your laptop, it's not evident there is a flaw. But say there's a heating problem, there is a flaw somewhere in there. But for you to think through, it's a more in-depth process to actually go through and find the product, find the
No,
problem.
but I feel like I do have like slight this thing, like when so my old laptop, the trackpad was slightly offside. Okay, like it was a little to the right, So whenever I'd game, my palm would hit like the trackpad. So that would mess up while gaming. So I feel like small things like that I noticed, or like I have new appreciation also for other smaller things if my wardrobe has like soft clothes, right? Like it doesn't go tuck. It's like slowly. And like I feel like okay, someone has thought of like, oh, this would feel nice when your a user opens. Like I have that now as opposed to
Attention to
before.
Yeah, that is there.
I think it only
Attention to
comes
detail,
once you
no?
use the
Yeah.
product. If you look at it, you can't really tell all its flaws, but good pros and cons.
Aryan, when you see a good packaging, do you have an orgasm? That's the question.
I do. Well, I do.
You can
Like
answer
the
it.
main thing, I really do. Like the main thing I see in a package is how well they have presented the brand and how good the unboxing experience of that product itself is. So that what really matter for me. So like I really didn't like earlier. I didn't have that much interest into packaging design. It started off once I got into designing packages and uh, because of some of those assignments, and I knew that I could excel in this industry as well.
I guess once to how you said like finding the wrong in products. It's also pretty easy for like not easy. We also find the good in products. Like we've started appreciating the better products as well.
I didn't mean like you see wrong. It's just like the way
interpretation.
when
I think you have more attention now. Like you
Yes.
pay attention to smaller things as
there's
a
a quote,
designer.
no? The quote, when the way you see things changes, the things you see change. That's what I meant.
What?
Makes sense, yeah.
Deep, but makes sense.
Yeah, when the way you see things changes, the things you see change. So,
No,
if you had a teacher who was a teacher, he was a PT teacher, he was just a PT teacher. But then you found Paul on the laptop, he's not just a PT teacher anymore.
Oh my God.
True.
So like
Makes
products
sense.
for you were products, but once you became a product designer, the products themselves started meaning more than this. Yeah.
At least you're like Tanmay said, you can appreciate or like not like the smaller things. Like you're able to find like when you appreciate those smaller things, you feel like, oh, that's nice. Because when I'm pretty sure, like if I've designed something and like someone recognizes a very small thing in that only which I know, I feel very happy with it. And it's even though you've recognized it and you've not told it to the designer, I'm pretty sure it's like a nice recognition when you recognize those small nice things.
You know those Tic Tac in those boxes, like there's a slot for you to like remove.
Yeah, actually remove one Tic Tac and
some product designer thought about that and he put that, like, but none of us know. We just do
I feel like you'd be so infuriated. It's like, no, just take one. I put it there for you.
There are small designs like that which we actually
some random product design Prakash on which I thought about this and I appreciate that.
Correct. Do we have in the chat? Sankarshan Sai says, please acknowledge this comment. Yes. Acknowledged. All of you acknowledge.
I say
Sankarshan is a very strong reflection.
Sankarshan
in UI UX has a different meaning. What you guys told is not correct, he's telling.
As an interaction designer is taken offense.
No, it's UI UX in product design. I don't think product design is in UI UX.
UI UX, yeah.
Product design in UI UX? I don't think there's product design in UI. No, I also don't believe that.
Product design is the umbrella. And UI UX sees it differently. I think that's what he means.
In the sense, like, you know how these, even in these software companies, they'll be like, oh, we're developing a product. Like how, like a solution also, they call it a product. Oh, we're coding for
yeah.
I think it's like the same term.
It's like a digital solution.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, designing for a product. They don't.
Yeah.
What does product mean? Let me Google product meaning.
Vishak, that's what you get.
Are you on sale though?
Objectifying yourself.
For the right price.
Are you a it slash?
It slash
It slash?
it slash item.
No.
I'll call you it from now on.
Yeah.
You don't mind.
Go ahead.
Product. An
I'll call you
article or
item.
substance. An article or substance that is manufactured or refined or for sale. That's what a product is. It's an article or substance that is manufactured or refined for sale.
And then I guess everything can fall under it. From
Even a
this
service is a
Even
product.
Even UIX can.
But it's an article or substance. What is the meaning of article and substance? It's a huge, let's not get into it.
subjective.
Something that's
Too
tangible.
scientific.
Something that's tangible and like it's either visible or you can hold it or it's
You can feel it.
Even like apps, websites are also tangible.
Huh?
I mean, whatever, UI, UX. I mean,
yeah, app is also
Apps.
something that is
But-
realized is a product.
Hmm.
I think Sankarshan is asking a good question in the chat.
But what has he asked?
What have we asked?
If you guys could unlearn something learned in design school, oh, what a students it seems.
Go ahead, guys.
Nice.
Uh,
First off,
Hmm.
get the question. If you
Yeah.
had to unlearn
Yeah.
one thing in design
Basically,
school,
you have to tell what did your teachers teach you wrong. That's basically the question.
lot.
Yeah.
Comic
Can't
Sans,
say-
good font.
They didn't
Can you
teach
believe
enough.
that?
Okay, but unlearn, no?
Unlearn one thing. Good question. Wait, I'll also think. Unlearn one thing.
Okay, I guess mine would be stop falling in love with your designs.
Oh, that sentence could have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
That was not a dramatic pause. I was just finding the words.
Oh, when he started that
It's okay,
sentence,
it's okay,
I
we
was
believe
like,
you.
Twist.
Yes, you get what I mean, though.
Stop
Yeah,
falling
yeah.
in love. Designer says stop falling in love. Doesn't believe.
No,
I think it's
with
to
your
like,
designs.
I
Stop
think
being
it's like-
biased to what you do.
But like, were you taught to love your designs?
No,
For you to,
No,
then like,
you
why
just-
we developed it. We've all like
we were never like taught to like go back and like fix something and then again go. Like that loop we didn't follow. We just like went on like started finish. There was no like returning.
we know there's a loop, but we never went.
Yeah, we know it exists also, but we still didn't.
So like once you were graded, you were done with it basically.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
or even when you're like almost done, but like there's a fault, you never went.
Yeah. You
When
Yeah.
you never went
We
back.
just like kept it.
Yeah, limitations.
like I know it, I don't want the others to know, so it's fine.
Version 2 will have the update.
When I
Beta
work on it in the
prototype.
future, sir. Yeah. We've all done that. No, we've all been like, yeah, in the future when I rework on it, and
Yeah.
It never comes.
That future is it's too far.
Very, very far away.
yeah. I think even I also agree. More than falling in love with your product, at least till like 4th, 5th sem and all, I used to like what I used to do so much that when someone gave me feedback, I was like, hey,
Yeah, that happens.
shut up. I know.
Yeah.
2.5
Yeah.
years. Who did Photoshop for 2.5 years? You or me? Like that.
But I think we've all been humbled along the way.
Oh, yeah.
We've
Much
learned.
more. Yeah. That we have.
Yeah, I mean, like so far, like this conversation has been like so insightful to me, and like why I love your course. End of the day is like even though like if I'm an artist or whatever, and like I write or whatever I try to do, there's like a lot of lessons for me to take from this, which is like I can't keep writing shit and like I can't be writing some like vague, absurd stuff and not like. What my readers or like what my consumers feel also should matter to me, and like I should cater to them. That's one thing. And like as designers, like having a structure and like having a deadline matters. I can't be like, oh, my creative work
Oh,
takes
deadlines.
Deadline.
Deadline.
Huge
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
That is I feel like we never learned it. I think we pushed our teachers and they never pushed us back.
Yeah. They used to be like, oh, we'll grade only
Yeah.
we'll only grade out of 6. But these guys have
Never happened. Yeah.
like, what you think they all submitted on time? Last minute work. Yeah, so
I mean, it's always the last minute work which we submit, but we never took our deadline seriously and worked throughout. It's always, we have a deadline now, we have to finish it. Tomorrow's our ESA, we have to do it. One night we have, and that's what actually got our designs down as well, I feel.
Yeah.
When you say that, this thing comes to mind. Like, does that mean like? Do you think pressure is a very important part of the design process? Like the pressure of completion or the pressure of getting it done? Like, even though not assignments, even if it's like a professional thing, and you have a market, you have a pitch to whatever investor, or you have your startup for investor, your pitch is like in 2 days, and you've not done it. Do you think that adrenaline helps you work better, or is that just like stupid thing? Because we are just lazy.
I think it
You
has
think that
like
pressure
good
It
and bad.
does.
It
has
does
good and
help,
bad.
but I don't know. See, like this has only happened when I was not serious about my projects. Like, especially D2, I remember I hadn't done a major project, minor project. One night before ESA, got drunk and somehow managed to finish it. 8 o'clock in the morning, I finally finished and came. But that's because I didn't care at that time. But when I did, I took much longer. Like I started much before.
So I feel like, like going through this pressure also made us learn how to handle pressure. So like, like we know that we have this much time to finish our output. So we never pushed it till the end. We went step by step, like, I don't want that pressure. So I'll just finish it before and, get it to the end. Sorry.
I think what pressure, I don't think it's good because I feel like what pressure does is it drops your own standards. It becomes from I want to give something good to I want to give something.
Give something.
And
Correct.
I think like it drops quality standards substantially.
It'll help you get it done, but
Yeah, but
not the way you want it.
yeah.
Yeah. You have to cut corners and stuff. Yeah, makes sense.
It's like you're looking for a Mercedes Benz and you ended up with like 800, but it's still a car. So you're like, yeah, I gave.
And one of like the conceptions that I had, like when I thought of designers, is that like for me, not just design, it's anything in general. For me, the number one trait that anyone should exhibit is honesty. So being honest to their craft and being honest to what they believe in and stuff. And like the insight or like learning I got from this is, even if you're just being honest to yourself, like you can't take that to a point where you're so attached to yourself itself that it doesn't solve a purpose. Like you cannot be attached to your designs, whereas like you have to learn to attach yourself basically in a way. So let's say like the same thing where me being a film buff or whatever, I mean, I just can't just live in that headspace and all those things you said about like having to grow, etc. Like it makes so much more sense to me that being honest and all is fine, and like you should have honesty in your products or in your designs or your work or whatever. But end of the day, like there is like a world outside your head as well, and you should know to just not be in your head, whereas actually cater to this entire thing that's outside, because end of the day, that's what matters.
Yeah, and like 99% of the time, that's how it is. But some of the best designs have been from designers who are adamant with how they think. They have one way of thinking, and that's the only thing that they want to implement, and they make it, and it's considered a successful design. So if you're an amazing designer, that works, I guess.
It's
I feel like
it's
that
risky,
arrogance
but like
comes with legacy. Like I watched I was watching a video about like Aston Martin design, and like the head designer was like there is no market research. What we do, what we design is market research, because we are Aston Martin and we choose what we want to put up. So it's also that, like,
Yeah. So like it's not always that you have to detach yourself, or like whatever you feel. Sometimes whatever you think is right, but like it's again risky, like Jacob said.
It's
And
risky,
you
but
need
like
a
the
legacy.
rewards are like great. All lost
All
are also
bad.
great. Yeah.
No, but legacy is very important in that. Like Tanmay said, 100% legacy matters. No, because you guys know that Norman lemon squeezer you've all seen.
Yeah.
That thing, it makes no sense. But since Don Norman was already like a huge designer, it was like, oh, Don Norman made this, guys. We have to like this. It's
yeah.
all designers are like,
Yeah.
you have to like it. You can't dislike something.
What he did.
You
But
can't
maybe
dislike.
he
It's like
got
you-
there. Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, maybe
he
Maybe he
there,
got
like,
there by making the things that he wanted to make. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
Like how Dieter Rams, all his products have his own one single philosophy that he's put into everything. And it's not commercially successful, but as in the design community, everyone appreciates it. So is it good design? That it didn't commercially work, but
Can you quickly go to the 10 laws of good design? Can you quickly
yeah,
go?
no. That's, going on. Going on. I can name two and then you can go like after me.
Yeah, here and there we can. So like I don't remember full all 10. I remember.
Yeah.
Rule number 1, it should look good.
Sort of.
It should
Rule
be
number
minimal.
2, Amazon, it should be priced minimum 99. That's like that.
That's so small.
Discount big.
And yeah, if you have, as designers, you have any questions for us as improvisers, like yeah. Also, like Vishnu, like initially when we were talking, he told like he like had a plan of starting a podcast, and like something that stuck to him was the designer in Apple or something. He was a comedian, and then like there he was.
Yeah.
Can you
Johnny
tell that?
Ivy?
No. I don't remember his name. He used to do like part time, just go open mic stand up. But what he told was like you have to find like the small things that as a designer you have to see the small things that have problems and try to fix them. Like Jerry Seinfeld, he's a great observational comedian. This is his TED talk. He says, Jerry Seinfeld, he says, oh, look at that something, and he makes a joke. As a designer, it's my responsibility to see that, laugh at it, and find a solution to it. And that's why like Steve Jobs was very adamant on like Apple, if you use an Apple product, you don't have to charge it. Before iPhone 3G came, or whatever the iPhone 3G came, you had to charge the phone for 2 hours, 3 hours, and like after that use it. Steve,
Yeah.
when you open that, it's like a newborn baby you have. Not newborn baby, that's a bad thing. But like it's like a prized possession that you want to use immediately. You want to open it up and everything. So he's like, it has to be charged. People have to open it, use it. So like those small things that you have to look at the small things and then find solutions to it. That's like a designer's role, is what he told. Which made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I guess finding the problem is as important as making the solution.
Yeah. Like Jerry Seinfeld's work is just find that, make fun of it, over. But if he says, oh, look at that handle, like that door, the Don Norman door is also there. No, that push-pull thing is a big argument.
Yeah.
Like that also, it's a very small thing. It's just one handle thing. But they're like, we have to fixate on this and try to solve this one problem. And it becomes a part of life. It's like good design is unobtrusive. No? That's one of the laws in the 10.
Yeah.
So it has to be like natural. It should not be, you shouldn't see good design, I guess. But it has to be
unobtrusive.
I feel like even Apple has a lot of legacy now. like that they can
Oh,
do
yeah,
what
but-
they want,
Yeah.
and people be like,
Yeah, no, but like with
No.
3GS, it was a
yeah. That time it was actual like
Or like Apple initially had to do that into, like be aware and cater to, but now what they do becomes the norm. So
yeah.
Yeah.
them dropping the USB Type 3 on the MacBook forced the entire tech industry to change to Type C. And them dropping a headphone jack forced Bluetooth, and like now like the OnePlus was all like, hey, our phone comes with the headphone, jack. But now their fucking phone doesn't have a headphone jack. So
Yeah.
like so
Yeah,
A
there's
wireless
a reason
charger.
behind why they're doing it. So
I mean, and later they're gonna drop chargers from their phone,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
People are gonna shit on it, but eventually everyone will stop.
Will do the same thing. Yeah.
yeah, makes sense.
Controlling the market.
But you have to give it.
Yeah.
The end of the day, you have to give it to them because they have stayed.
Yeah, I mean,
very
I admire Apple for that, like the way they fuck the entire industry up with like the new MacBook with Apple Silicon, like they
Yeah, M1.
destroyed
M1
the
chip.
entire, oh god, performance.
Yeah, man. And the way they present it also is like so fascinating, so good.
Presenting is there from Apple, like they'll show
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, I mean like it's
Initial 30 seconds of Apple conferences are you jacking off to their infrastructure, all those things. And also like, the way they talk and like all of that. Presentation's obviously there, but yeah, the whole thing with them coming up with Apple Silicon and Intel doesn't know what to do after them doing.
Yeah. Intel is quite screwed now. I feel like AMD also is like, bye, we past you now.
Yeah, and oh god. So yeah, forcing.
Do you have any,
Your product should also like force the entire world to change. I wish you best of luck with that.
like
Thank you.
that square, that box cube thing that Steve Jobs did with 90.1 degree, whatever shit that he did. But yeah, if you have questions, ask. And I have one question, which is, do you think some other factors help with your design, like with something that's not like a skill that you have, which is not designing? Does that help designing? Does that help your design part of it? Because I'll explain for myself, like with the whole theater aspect of it, like storytelling, I have basic knowledge of the storytelling aspect of it. So with graphic design, at least the narrative of a brand is very important. So that whole storytelling aspect of it helps me with that. It's a parallel, not parallel. It's like same line. It's like exactly the same. So it helps me with that, with the storytelling, since I know basics. It helps me with brand narratives, making a brand and putting it out, marketing it in a way. That's like something like that. Do you guys have something like
I
that?
think our our other skills are also kind of very similar to the design field. So like not at least for me, not that much. Like doesn't change much.
Okay.
For me, I think being competitive through sports has played a role in me as a designer. Like that work ethic and that determination to be the best is like transferred into design. And that's what's been pushing me to like when I joined, I knew, and at first year, I knew I was lagging behind, not skilled enough as others. I pushed myself to like catch up to the others by the fourth year. So that comes from that.
What's he blabbering? Did you get 10 in first sem also?
No, like, but I knew I wasn't.
Deep back in first sem only was deep. It was like, guys, I am not
competitive.
not satisfied with my
I
design.
fought myself.
When the world told me I was good enough, I knew there was room for me to improve, and that's what pushed me.
Good is not good enough.
Yeah.
Greatness.
Yep.
Some shit I fucked it up.
Aryan, Tanmay,
I think
Aryan,
what skills
I
I
don't
have.
really
only.
know.
Aryan, you being in like Mawadi family, like And like always being obsessed with functions, sherwanis and stuff, has that like have more attention for detail and stuff like that.
I feel like I'm the least Madhu guy in my family. I'm the least, like, I don't, follow any of their.
Yeah, we can expose you right now. So like,
It's onion every day.
I think I can speak for him. His extravagant approach to solving things, that's one of his skills that comes from outside. How do I know you better than you?
yeah.
I mean,
You're
a great friend.
No, like when like Arihant like comes to my house or like place, like if the curtain is off, like he'll fix it. Like if the door hanger is like if something like photo frame is off, he'll fix that immediately. Like
I have that little bit of OCD.
Yeah, and like
You've never done this for us, bro. What is this?
Yeah, what is this? Only Vaishak you're feeding.
No, I used to fold your blankets and all.
Hey, Vaishak, I think he wants something from you.
like, no, and that's why like,
The homemaker.
What's that? He's the production manager for our shows.
Yeah.
Because
and like attention to detail, basically.
That like translates to your design as well.
Yeah, kind of. I feel like me looking at other people's work and getting inspired by them also plays an important role. Like, for example, when I used to see Jacob's render in the starting, I used to be like, dude, those renders are amazing. I need to learn that. I used to ask him, I
got this.
Like how you do it. I want to learn. So me getting inspired.
It's on record though.
It's the internet can see him praising you.
I'm gonna frame this text.
I mean, it's the same for others as well. Like, and taking feedbacks. Like whenever I used to make something, I have this habit of asking people. Like I ask everyone, like, dude, is this good? Do you think I should make any changes? Do you think I have any room for improvement and stuff? Like that helped me, get into a successful output.
Do you guys have any other questions? If not, does chat in have any other questions? Who are your favorite designers? Asks Ashwin Rao. Mine is Michael Berut, #1 graphic design.
I don't have any.
I mean, it's Dieter Rams.
I mean, I like following people's work, but I don't have a favorite designer like this. Philip Stark, this Johnny.
I don't have a favorite. I just like some. I might like some products of some people, but like it's like other products.
But
so like no favorites.
For me, it's more of design than the person. Like
not person, but like
I mean as a design. Like I can't really like. Yeah, I know, but I can't really like judge that way.
Sometimes products. I don't know product designers. A lot of product designers. I don't know. I know Tinker Hatfield.
I have a favorite game studio though. It's like House. They made one game called Untitled Goose Game. Like I feel like it's the first game where I've seen that's integrated comedy into like a proper gameplay. It's damn fun. You guys should check it out.
My favorite game studio is CD Projekt Red until they released Cyberpunk. But yeah, and Naughty Dog.
Yeah. Also, that game studio.
Which game studio?
The name is called that game studio.
What have they done?
They have a game called Journey and Flower. Both are like insane. Like it's more like storytelling in games, which I realized is very hard to do because in games you have to. It's like you have to give player freedom, but also to tell story you need control of camera.
CD Projekt with Witcher and RPG elements, and before that, like RPGs was just like you create your character and you live in that world. But for a role-playing game to also have a story is like that's what like Witcher did brilliantly.
Yeah,
Witcher is changed the game.
I mean, again, open world games, right? Witcher
And,
is an open world game, right?
Yeah, it's an open world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we are ending the
Yes.
nearing the end of our conversation, not ending nearing the end of our conversation and our closing statements. How was it? And do you have any advice for us common
Future
people?
designers. And we are all professionals, by the way. We have graduated. We can give advice.
Almost graduate.
Almost.
Waited for that piece of paper.
Go ahead.
You like feedback for you as in on the podcast or?
Hey, no, da.
Hey, that you give after
Okay.
after you see that live on YouTube, sign go off, you give.
Okay, my bad. For young designers, you mean?
Young budding.
If someone's watching, that is.
Say don't do drugs also. That's a good advice. We won't question you on that.
I don't think that's good.
You can say do drugs, sir. That's another.
Medicinal.
Yeah.
BBB doesn't support though. YouTube, if you're watching.
We're gonna cut a trailer and it's gonna have like Varun, don't fall in love.
Hey, don't do that shit. Okay, hello.
Do it.
Okay.
Then small letters you put with your own.
I guess I would say follow your passion. Like if you're in design and you don't like design, leave it. You can't do design if you don't love it.
Yeah.
I think you shouldn't rely only on your college education. You should like explore more on your own.
Agreed.
That is, I think, very important.
Learn what's happening in the market.
Aryan,
Thinking.
हमको भी advice दे भाई.
I feel like
You should fall in love.
yeah, with your
Posing,
design.
designing stuff.
Fall in love.
Fight.
Stop
Basically-
not falling in love. That's Aryan's.
Eat
Stop
till
not
you
falling in love with what you're doing in design. Like, I feel.
I don't understand anything.
Deep enough, don't worry. And on that note, my advice is drink milk before going to bed. And we will end today's podcast. Thank you all so much for doing it. A round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you for
guys.
having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And
You guys can
Yeah.
you're on the call.
Good luck
Bye-bye.
to you guys for your
Bye.
future.